Hello my friends, my name is Shauna Kay and I am here to talk about the elephant in the room, particularly over in Indonesia, like the big fucking elephant in the room. People come to America because we're the land of the free, right? We value our freedoms. We don't like people telling us what to do. But yet, so much so, the bitching could not be more prevalent here in America. And I guess it's people like me who are very cultured, who've lived all over the world and have had the privilege to be in other countries, to really get an eye-opener about what's going on in the world, what other countries have, the laws, and just the societies and other places. It really truly helps me appreciate where I'm from, what I have, the blessings, the pros and the cons. Now, America has plenty of cons, plenty, but I don't bitch about it too much because it is by far one of the greatest nations there is, in all well-rounded sense of the word. Now, there's tons of corruption, every side of the coin, Republicans, Democrats, everywhere. That's why I'm a registered independent. But when you really travel the world, and I've had the pleasure of living in Germany, and I've lived in Thailand briefly as a short-term missionary, and I got to experience a lot of different cultures and laws. And one thing that it really came down to was my freedom, my choice to believe what I wanted, to, worship who I wanted. Now, I'm not saying America's always been this way. And that's where Republicans need to sit down, because America's not always been this free. We have come a long way. More so recently, obviously, loving who we want to love and marrying who we want to marry. And those kind of freedoms have just been increased. So when people want to talk about how America's getting worse and we're going downhill and the hatred, there couldn't be more freedom and more love, actually. I don't understand why it's not obvious. I think people allow the small amount of hatred to ring louder than it really is. But that's the way it is, right? The bad, negative comments they always get more attention than the good. That's just normal in society. But when it comes down to it, we have a lot of freedoms here. So when I heard about Indonesia, a country that is breathtaking and gorgeous and a home to one of my favorite natural herbs and teas, kratom, and I found out about the strengthening on one of their already sensitive laws regarding sex and morality, and now officially banning, that will be official in the next 3 years. So it's not banned now. Laws typically take some time to go into place. But they have now passed the law that it is illegal to have sex outside of marriage in Bali, all of Indonesia. And it doesn't just apply to citizens, it applies to tourists, anybody. And this was passed by all parties in the nation's government. Influencers, people that pride themselves by going to Bali for the love of beauty and remote working. Talk about crash and burn. This is depressing. It is beyond depressing. What freedoms? Now you're going to be forced to say, okay, it's just a marriage certificate. Now we're going to be jumping that bridge. Do I think that's wrong? Yes. Is it my place to jump on some political pulpit? No, it's not my country. Do I think they're getting religious beliefs into their government? Yes, but that's often the case. They have moral grounds, in a sense. I've got to say, it's kind of ridiculously insane that there are countries, even beautifully, amazingly popular countries like Indonesia, that can make that drastic of a political statement that could change the lives of tourists. They will see a massive change, and it will affect the people. It will affect their economy. And people are already predicting what it's going to do. They're already predicting what it's going to do to the creative community, how it's going to affect the consumers like myself. Obviously, that's still going to continue. The selling is still going to continue. But the concern really is how many people are going to stand up for women's rights, for people's rights, men and women's rights. Are they going to stand up for what's right, or are they just going to say, fuck it, we're not sleeping together, who cares? Or lie, or just get married for the hell of it? Or is it really not going to be affected at all? You're going to come to the table on either you're going to stand up for what you think is right, what you should believe in, or you're not. You're going to just not care to open your mouth, right? And it's going to affect the economy, or it won't. Or you'll just accept what is, and it will or may not affect anything. So we'll see what happens. It could turn either way. There's a lot of predictions. But again, it goes based on what you think of sex outside of marriage. Is it a religious thing? Is it a personal freedom that a person should have? And to have that taken away, is it a right that's taken away? If that's something you believe, would you support a country that would do that? Just like maybe other Islamic countries do to women, like what's happening over in Iran. A lot is going to come from this. And these are just the beginning developments. So I'm really curious to see how it plays out. But that's just dropped a couple days ago. I can't say I'm surprised at the turn of events, considering the laws that have already been kind of turning this way and how religiously it's been going throughout the past years. But we shall see how it goes.